My name is Mira Nakashima. I'm the daughter of George Nakashima, who came to this property around 1946 and was trained as an architect, and he kept building, I think, about 15 buildings between 1947 and 1977 to enable his furniture business to survive. Most of the structures are dedicated to making furniture, but a lot of them are just building, I think, just because he liked to build. And by the time he had a stroke in 1989 and eventually died in 1990, it was a scary time. We weren't sure the business would survive. My father, earned his living by making furniture, but he wouldn't have designed his furniture the way he did if he hadn't studied architecture and been interested in building before he went into furniture. He left architecture as a profession, but architecture never left him. So building buildings as needed was very much a part of the ongoing process of what my father did. As time went on, he was able to afford experimenting with shells. His first shells on the property were hyperbolic paraboloid shells built in 1956. He just built concrete block lumber sheds to store his lumber in, but he realized that if he engineered the roofs properly with hyperbolic paraboloid shells, he would need no intermediate supports. It's part of the environment of where we live and where we work. Keeping that environment intact, I think, is very important for the preservation of the Nakashima legacy. It's not just furniture, it's architecture. We're awfully grateful that through the World Monument Fund we were able to get funding to research and implement building and maintaining the arts building specifically. It is such a complicated structure. To do extensive research on the engineering, so many different materials and so many different techniques that needed to be used in repairing it.
Part of the process we're doing here is changing these nailers here that are clearly rotting away. We had beefed them up slightly and changed them to a cypress material. We see a lot of cypress around the property. It's rot resistant, so we wanted to keep things uniform as far as species goes. They're spaced out evenly. They're going to have an 8-inch reveal here, and it's going to be cut nicely. We are putting on cedar shakes with a 5.5-inch reveal.
This is our start of the summer warm-up project, really. It's good training for the cedar shake installation and for looking at the basic construction of these roofs, because we're going to have more upcoming projects like this throughout the summer.
So this side has been completed, has the 5-inch reveal. Each shingle, just like the previous roof, had 3 layers of shingles.
Some skills that we're learning here are just the simple installation of the cedar shakes and the lattice, but also soldering the flashing and learning about materials like lead-coated copper, installing flashing and counter flashing.
The only difference that we have with this roof is we added this copper flashing. This will deter any biogrowth from underneath. We're also going to have a cap on the top. Some of the flashing here had been taken out and replaced. There was an original mixture of lead-coated copper and aluminum, and all that we're going to be replacing with is the lead-coated copper.
The conservation of these buildings is unique, and the skills are a broad set. This has been a really great project because it exposes us to a lot of different skill sets and gives us a primer in a broad array that really prepares us to deal with the next 50 years at Nakashima and really preserving this heritage.
For the longevity of Nakashima, we needed to continue to hire younger people so that they could learn the craft and keep it going into the future. Cody Jones and Brandon Spector were hired in 2014 because they had experience both in building and in design and furniture making. I wanted my father to be known not just as a furniture maker, but as an architect. That what is on this property is the evidence that he was an architect. And we're very grateful to World Monument Fund for recognizing that and for enabling us to keep the buildings in good repair, to know how they were built, to be able to restore them and maintain them.